Okay, here we are in the Londoner. I'm going to do a video called Why is the Londoner the Best Casino for Foreigners in Macau? So that's going to be the title of this one. And we're going to walk around and kind of show you some of it while we do this. That's the lobby right there. It looks pretty cool. So this is actually a new casino. I'll get into the reasons and stay tuned. Make sure that you make some comments below because it'll help out the algorithms for the channel as well. Chiquinha, Chiquinha. Go check out the room. Chiquinha. Okay, I'm the content creator for this channel. If you like what I'm doing, just subscribe and hit the like button. Okay, so here we are in the Londoner. I'm going to give you some reasons why Londoner is the best casino in Macau for foreigners. Sometimes I'll hear messages, asking me about what they think about different casinos. In general, most of the casinos I find kind of not so interesting, and they're not really that interesting to go into, especially if you're a foreigner living in Macau, and even if you're living in Macau and you're Chinese as well. I don't think a lot of them would be that interesting. But there's a few exceptions, and this one is a big exception for pretty much all locals. You'll see lots of Macau people come in here all the time. This one is also connected to Venetian, and I think this one and Venetian are probably the two. There's some of the floor. Some people want to see what that looks like. I don't see anybody at those tables, which is probably good because I'm not supposed to film in those areas anyway. But I'm going to tell you why I think Londoner is one of the best casinos for foreigners, and I think the main reason is because I say this in a lot of the casino visit. I usually film all over Macau and I film lots of different stuff. When I'm in the other parts of Macau, I don't talk about this kind of stuff, but I do want to talk about it here. And basically, whenever I go into casinos, I always feel the same thing. I always feel like the casinos aren't really a reflection of Macau very well. They're usually, it's basically always for mainland Chinese tourists. Everything set up here is for mainland Chinese tourists. You can see some of the floor right there as well. And a lot of the casinos, they use the simplified script, which is mainland China. Most of the food courts are almost only Chinese foods, and they have like a little token Japanese. You'll never find like a pizza slice place or something that you might find in an international place. Like you just won't find it in the city, in the casinos. Sorry, you will in the city, but the casinos there are no slices of pizza. But what I do like about this particular casino is they do have a couple things that cater towards foreigners. So it's pretty unusual. All of them kind of will cater a little bit on the highest end, but they're pretty much always for mainland Chinese tourists. But Londoner is an exception, and right there you can see one of them right there, Shake Shack. So there's a burger place. It's from the United States. We don't really have Burger King or Wendy's or Arby's or Taco Bell. None of those American chains are here. Zero except for McDonald's and KFC and Subway. Sorry, there's three. But the burger one, it's only McDonald's. It's the only one. So that alone already sets it apart all the other ones, because it actually has an actual burger place that's not McDonald's. McDonald's is not. McDonald's is so common everywhere in every city in the world that it means nothing really. It's not an indicator of anything. But this Londoner has a Shake Shack and also has the Cheesecake Factory, which is a chain, and it has all these international foods. So that one's actually also really interesting because there's just nowhere else in Macau that has that. There's no other chain anythings here, especially in the casinos. It's almost only you get all your shops, like Lulu Moon I think is international, so the shops will be international. There's Londoner. Music is pretty loud. Pretty nice views here. But yeah, so actually I got Pink Floyd. Wow, they're playing Pink Floyd here too. That's interesting. So yeah, the Londoner I think kind of surpasses everybody as far as I got to speak loud and often because it'll drown out the music. And let me just turn off the music just a little bit because the music is so loud. Here's the Lulu Moon. They do yoga there. Okay, I don't know if we're getting away from the music at all, but we are got some kind of cool stuff. Yeah, my personal feeling is that not only is like when these casinos cater towards foreigners, not only is it good for their business, but it's also good for mainland Chinese tourists, because when they go to these places, they're coming to see, like the Londoner. They want to see Londoner themes. They want to see what images of London look like. They go to Parisian. They want to see that. They like that kind of stuff. So I feel like places like this, you can see I think those are mostly Macau people. Macau people are a lot more international than mainland Chinese when it comes to food choices and things like that. I mean, I'm basing that on the fact when I go to a lot of these casinos, they don't have hardly any non-Chinese food choices. So anyways, those are some of the reasons I think this is one of the best casinos in Macau for foreign or international audiences. It's kind of interesting, you got these giant shoes here. It's like the Ronald McDonald shoes. So those are kind of interesting right there. Guess. I think down there's Starbucks, there's also Cheesecake Factory down that way. But I was kind of coming down this way because I wanted to see this Instagrammable little area. I just kind of recently discovered this Instagrammable little space in that area. Maybe we'll go down in a second. We're just gonna show you Shake Shack, not Shake Shack, but there's an iMac and there's also a Cheesecake Factory here and a Starbucks. So this Cheesecake Factory is one of the other things that makes this one more accessible and international to a much wider audience. Yeah, and actually it doesn't sound like much when you're in another city. Like if I'm in Jakarta or Manila or Bangkok, you know, there's international food all over the place. And Macau there is too, but not in the casinos. So that's why it's so interesting to find casinos. There's also very little poker in the casinos as well, which is kind of interesting, right? Maybe a lot of you already know Cheesecake Factory, but you can see that there's actually all these different kinds of things that you don't really expect. Louisiana chicken, Portuguese chicken. There's an iMac store right there. I think that's one of the few in the city. iMac is, I finally got an iMac phone and I realized how hard they are to get, or how hard they are to get parts for. So yeah, those are some of the other reasons I think this is a very international, foreign-friendly casino. So it's probably the casino that most gets away from targeting specifically to the mainland Chinese audience. I don't know if they have poker here or not. That's the other indicator. And there's very little poker, very little blackjack. Most games are baccarat, usually high stakes, which is also where all the money's at. But it's also another one of those things that tell you that that their audience is 100% definitely mainland Chinese. You can also tell it through the immigration. Right now, foreigners are not allowed to come in. They cannot come in no matter what. Even if they have work visas here, they cannot come in. If they have a work visa and they leave, they cannot come back. So so we're seeing the foreign numbers go smaller and smaller all the time. And so, you know, being able to see something like this, where they actually seem like they actually have an interest in foreign audiences and foreign interest, it's nice to see it. Barbershop went in there. But yeah, the city is yeah. This is a great casino. So if you come to Macau, this is probably the casino that you want to go to. These are all for Instagram. I did filming here before. You can kind of see the way the chairs are set up. We're going to kind of go through and look at all this in more detail in a second. So yeah, these are only facades. They're not actually not. When you look at these, when you look at these books, they're all glued on here. That's all glue down there. Glue. So they're all glued. So it'd be. So yeah, so that's actually interesting right there, right? Because I always see these, there's lots of tourists here everywhere from mainland China, but no foreigners are allowed, so it's kind of like, it's kind of unfortunate. I think it's because they say it's the health reasons. There's a lot of different reasons that could be going on, but if you notice, Hong Kong has almost no COVID, and that door's not open to Hong Kongers either. It's basically just open to mainland China, so that kind of talks about, I don't know. I hope it changes, basically. This is a wonderful city with so much to offer, so many amazing things. So sometimes when I see, this is kind of interesting, right? So that was the House of Magic. They said they want to, those are, she says I want to go in, which is what I feel like when I see those things too. It's like I really want to go into these places, but you can't. So they're just kind of Instagrammable facade. So unfortunately we can't go in. So it's too bad. Got a McDonald's. This has got to be one of the saddest McDonald's I've seen in the whole city. It's because they got, actually this place actually has other interesting places like Shake Shack. Actually has a real burger, which is so unusual. So the only people that would come here would be the mainland Chinese, I think. Anyways. Yeah, so anyways, I guess this video would be kind of short, but you got a little taste of the Londoner. There's a lot of little London references everywhere in here too. You got just kind of a small taste. I have filmed much more extensively in here, but today I just kind of want to bring that message, and I'm back here again because again, it's probably one of the better casinos in the city, so it keeps bringing me back. And there's enough stuff to bring people back many times, and I'll see Macau locals in here quite a bit as well, more so than other places. Venetian, the other one. So anyways, let's end it coming up here. Londoner. Ah, this is open as well. I haven't been up here in a while. This is, the Londoner also has a food court. Used to be called the Sands. So this is kind of what I'm talking about when pretty much all the casinos target almost only mainland Chinese audience, and this is pretty typical of almost all the casinos in Macau. And but then when you go down, there's all these other choices here. So that was so this is kind of leftover still from Sands Casino. It's not fully converted yet. It'll probably still stay the same, but I just want to show you basically how things are predominantly for a mainland Chinese audience throughout most of the casinos. And we'll start here. I'm not saying the foods are good or bad, because I'll definitely eat that in a heartbeat. I usually won't eat that one. Salmon. But you can see, like, okay, so you can see this is definitely Chinese. This one is from Taiwan. So the Taiwan foods would be pretty much everywhere, but again, it's a derivative of Chinese food. So so that's basically caters towards that same taste, right? Guangdong, China, that's right across the way. King Seafood, this is in almost all the casinos as well. But basically it's basically the same kind of food again. A little bit different, but Macanese Portuguese. So this one is there's always one that's kind of for the mainland Chinese taste, so that they can try, you know, the specialty of the Macanese one. Hunan, Chinese. That one is Japanese, which is good to see. Shanghai. The Shanghai cuisines. Hello. Let's see, the next one is beef noodle. This one is Han one. This looks a little bit Japanese. Yeah, it is. So you got two Japanese. There's a Chow cuisine, which is Chinese. This one is Chinese. Beef and hot chili. Hello. This one is Chinese as well. Barbecue King. Got duck. It's pretty popular in this part of the world. Around wonton, very Hong Kong, Asia. Mixed vegetable rice. Stone pot rice. This one has a little bit of a Korean influence. sure if it's Korean or Chinese. There's no Korean written anywhere, and the name is a Chinese name, so we'll assume it's there's some Korean roast chicken. So this looks kind of Korean with a Chinese name. This one's Chinese cuisine, Japanese. So it's 3 Japanese. That's nice to see. Ocean Empire. This one is Chinese. Hong Kong cuisine. We got one more coming up here. Singapore. So yeah, Singapore is also kind of a derivative of the Chinese cuisines as well. So anyways, that's our food court. This food court's been here. I've been coming here for 8 years, and anyways, that's kind of what I mean by most casinos usually cater towards the they don't really cater towards foreigners at all. It's basically whatever mainland Chinese tastes are. So that's an example of that. So I'll just throw that on the Londoner as well. First time I've been up here since I became a Londoner, but the shops are almost exactly the same as the Sands, so they still have the same vendors and contracts. I don't mind, but it's more interesting when I see the variety of stuff. Okay. Leave some comments below. Let me know what you think.